The Iron Jungle podcast is raw, it's real, it has zero gimmicks, zero bullshit, and absolutely zero fucks to give.
Welcome to the Iron Jungle. This is real, no bullshit, no holds barred, wide fucking open podcast.
We've been at this far too long to be fucking around. This is the jungle, where anything goes, no holds barred.
We're going to be talking about the real shit, how to succeed in a world where you have goals, but there's so much misinformation and bullshit trying to sell you something. This is the informative podcast, and there's no holds barred in the jungle.
The question is, are you ready? Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Welcome to the Iron Jungle. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the jungle, the Iron Jungle. Drew Peters from Nebraska, repping the Nebraska Hatters. College football is back, baby. And your team is supposedly one of those sleeper teams in the Big Ten. I don't fucking think they're sleeping. I think they're garbage, Drew. I think Nebraska's, but not as garbage as Ohio State and Michigan. Fuck those guys. If you're from Ohio State or Michigan listening to this podcast, I don't care if you turn us off right now. Thank you for the view. Thank you for the hit. Fuck you on Wisconsin. What's up, Drew?
Shit, man, I can't talk too much shit. We haven't won a national championship in 22 years, which I can't complain. It's kind of like being a Yankees fan. Like, we haven't won a World Series since 2009. I'm like, fuck, has it been that long? I mean, I can't complain. I love my Yankees, but there's teams that are worse off, you know? So, same with Nebraska, man. We railed everybody in the 90s, and we will be back. We will be back.
Drew, are you a thug?
It depends, man. I mean, some days when I'm rolling to the office, listening to a little bit of Bone Thugs and Harmony and other rap music talking about the gangbanging, selling weed, and, you know, murdering people, I guess I am.
I mean, how many teardrop tattoos do you have?
I can't say that I've invested in any as of yet, man. Okay. I think that means you're sad, like an emo shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they mean. All I know is you are covered in tats, and you post pictures online of you in tats, and I know there are people out there that browse that photo and think, man, this guy, A, is a gym bro douchebag, and number two, he's a fucking thug because he's covered in ink. And I love it because tonight's episode, we're going to talk about ink and fitness because there is a lot of ink and fitness, but I'm really excited to talk about like the competing side of things because like it's frowned upon on stage to have ink for whatever fucking reason. It is just you don't do that. But I think it's fucking cool. I have ink. You have ink. I think it's fucking sweet. I think you look more badass, especially if you're defined and actually have muscle. If you're just a fat slob, whatever. But if you're in shape like you and me, ink makes us look sexy, my man. I think the women like it. I've
had promising revolts. More than 100% of the time, it works every time.
Every time.
Unless you're a stuck-up cunt. But that's whatever. I mean, bro, come on. Let's break one thing real clear here. It amazes me. It's fucking 2019. You know, for a long time, I remember growing up that tattoos, even in the 90s, were like, oh, no, tattoos and all there. They weren't as socially acceptable even then. You think bikers and pirates and criminals and gangbangers and all this shit having ink, or the only people having ink. I mean, there is some more mainstream value to them now. Some people are like, man, it's cool to get this bitch-ass infinity symbol that they on the middle of their finger that they saw on Pinterest or some shit. So there is some following of sheep. It's trending, but man, fuck that. I've had my ink before. Like I would claim before I started getting popular. I've had some of my tattoos like 9 years now, and I absolutely love my ink. And it all starts with, you know, growing up. Like I said, it's a big deal to get a tattoo. Now over 70 hours deep, to me, I mean, I don't think it's as big of a deal these days, and maybe because I'm covered in ink, I have a lot of friends that are in ink. If you look around the industry, fitness industry, it's widely accepted that there's a lot of ink. But, right. I mean, it does have a stigma to it. There are some places where, you know, some older generations that may not approve of them. They think it may look unprofessional, so on and so forth. And I will speak personally. I personally wouldn't tattoo my face. It's just kind of a taboo thing. I mean, once again, there's people with really cool face tattoos. Some badass motherfuckers. Like
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, exactly. Or even Lee Priest.
No, it's gone.
He was speaking of Bible specifically. And
he got rid of it. He got rid of it.
But the point is, it's more widely accepted. So cut the fucking bullshit. So I guess the question to you is, like, when you think of the fitness, I think, what trends, I guess, or what have you mainly noticed about yourself? You've been this a long time, so as I have.
In regards to ink?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I was a douche, man. I had 2 tribal tattoos. I was that guy walking around with, I mean, I thought, and I get asked all the time, like, what tribe are you a part of? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. But since I've grown up and matured, for me, my tattoos represent more of like what I represent as a person. And so I got one of my tribals covered up, and you've seen it, and a lot of people that follow us know what it is. I got a line on it, and go figure. In this podcast, it's called the Iron Jungle Podcast because like the lion's the king of the fucking jungle, and I feel like I want to be the king of this fucking jungle, the fitness industry, the supplement industry. Like I want to put a stake in the ground and be respected for the work that I do, and that's representative of what I want to do. Now, there's part of me that just thinks it looks badass, and I think it looks cool. Like it's a half sleeve. I want a full sleeve. But to your point, like you said, 70 hours invested. For those at home that don't understand, like the type of monetary investment that is as well. If you're just doing basically black ink and you're going to a respectable tattoo artist at $1.20, maybe $1.50 an hour, Drew's got like $7,000 to $10,000 worth of ink, if not more, right? If you're doing the math correctly, 70 times 100, that's $7,000 plus tip.
Look, actually, the best about this podcast is we don't have to give a fuck just about the fitness. We're going to help y'all out here. There's a lot of probably out there thinking about tattoos like, okay, I didn't tune in for this fucking bullshit, but, well, fuck you anyway. You're getting our advice.
Yeah.
So a good rule of thumb, and like a good rule in general, a good tattoo isn't cheap, and a cheap tattoo isn't fucking good. Mm-hmm. And that's not my saying. Every fucking tattoo shop everywhere probably has that up. But it's up because it's fucking true.
Very true.
Okay? You're putting something on your body with, I know some smart ass is going to come in here after saying this, that you're putting on the body the rest of your life. Or you can get it removed these days. Well,
it fucking hurts.
Fucking think about it. It's a permanent thing. It's expensive on both ends, so you may have something you may not like. So the key is don't be a dumb fuck. Don't just pick something to pick something. Don't get a tattoo just to have a tattoo. I know I sound like a grumpy old man when I say that, but it's so fucking true. And realistically, I mean, once again, I've been to multiple artists. I had one of my half sleeves and the entire left side done by an artist, and the other right was done by two different artists because it's different times. It's 3 years apart. Packing the sleeve, the bottom part of the sleeve, and that's my guy in Florida, and I've had one in Nebraska. But any tattoo artist that's worth their salt, you're probably looking anywhere from upwards of $150 to $200 an hour. That's just kind of a frame of reference. So if you go in and say, okay, I'm looking to do this big piece on my arm, you're probably looking at from $300 to $400 based on this is probably going to take 2 to 3 hours. Or, okay, if you're committing to a half sleeve or a full sleeve, they're like, okay, we're probably going to break this up into, say, 3 sessions and say, sometimes they'll name their price because they know how long it'll take them. And you're committing to a sleeve, they might give you a quote unquote like a discount. Yeah. So there isn't the hard rule like, oh, it took exactly, 4 hours, so you're exactly $600 in. There's some fluctuation there, but just average rate, expect to pay some good money. And also, they are permitting a service. They are an artist, so make sure that you fucking tip them.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're a repeat customer, they'll take their time, and especially if you're a repeat customer. I mean, I'm more rapport because I'm going to hell of a sleeve.
Right.
They know me, but then he tips well. Like, dude, okay, you get extra breaks down the road. It pays off. Especially referring people. They take care of you because you're walking. You are their business card. Mm-hmm. So those things you consider price-wise. Yeah,
I think it's great. I mean, we're going to bounce around this episode. Like, we are going to talk more fitness. We're going to talk about having tattoos on stage. We're going to talk about after you get a tattoo, how to care for it, and how quickly you can get back to the gym. Because that's a question we get a lot. But I remember my first job was at a fucking McDonald's of all places. 14 years old. If you had earrings, you covered them up with a Band-Aid. If you had tattoos, you wore long sleeves. In corporate America, fucking over 10 years later, at that point, like if you had tattoos in your arms, you cover them up with sleeves. Like that's the world that we live in. It's absolutely insane. And it's a stigma with tattoos, maybe in some big conglomerate corporate America places. But where there's a bigger stigma with tattoos today is women have it with tattoos. Like, and it's unfair because there are some sexy ladies with tattoos, like gorgeous sleeves, gorgeous artwork, but yet society looks at you one way, Drew, and looks at me and be like, okay, this guy might be a thug. But if a lady has similar tattoos like we do and they're covered, like they look at them in a completely different perspective that is completely fucking utterly unfair, especially when some of these women just look absolutely phenomenal with their tattoos.
Dude, I agree 100%. And it thinks too, even for us guys, which I'm not like, oh, poor me. I really don't give a fuck. The best part about this is it's very clear what I do for a living. I'm director of science, and I'm generally considered a relatively smart person. I guess that's fair to say. And I go to, say, an expo like Expo West, which is an ingredient show, or Olympia, not so much. But I go to, say, Expo West or Supply Side out in Vegas every year, rocking my company polo. And usually I'm wearing shorts because fuck y'all. I'm not wearing dress pants. These calves don't lie. I'll go up there and some people are like, oh, can I help you? And then there's impression they get. I'm a big dude. I'm tatted. Usually, got a fair tan, whatever. Like, oh, they assume I'm an athlete with the company. And I'm like, no, I'm director of science. Like, oh, do you have like whoever available as a rep? And they talk to me, and it's always this first impression they get. They don't expect me to be like somebody that's like with the company rather than like, oh, you're like a brand, like I'm an athlete, something like that. They don't think I look smart, which I'm okay with because I love fucking surprising people. But then 70 hours of ink, both ears pierced, my nose pierced, both my chest pierced. Usually I can't see that. I mean, it might be a wild expo if my shirt's off, but you get the point. Piercings, tattoos, it does carry a bit of stigma. Even 2019, they don't expect me to quote unquote be smart. Yeah. And fuck Jim Stepani. I'll say that again. Fuck Jim Stepani because he has more tattoos than I do. I don't give a fuck. He doesn't set the trend. He's his own fucking weird ass person. Fuck that guy. Twice.
There was speaking of that, not to get on Jim Stepani rant, but we had a comment on one of our episodes on YouTube that they want you to do an entire episode in the Jim Stepani voice. So just write that down. We might have to do that just for future reference. All right, let's get back to fitness. Competing on stage, male, female, arm tattoos, leg tattoos. Why, Drew? Why are they frowned upon?
Honestly, I don't think, personal experience-wise, I haven't negatively had my placing affected with tattoos. To be timeline super brief here, the first time I competed back in 2015, I had left pec, my left half sleeve, and just my right half sleeve done. Didn't seem to affect my placing at all. Same thing year later, same tattoos. I placed even better. Year after that, I did the best I've ever done, and I had additional other pec done as well as my sleeve complete, and I placed the best that I had. Last year, same thing. I hadn't had any additional ink, but to me, at least, it doesn't seem to have an effect on my placing. I mean, judges typically don't really notice it. Some people say, oh, you need to cover your tattoos. These days, it's pretty accepted. There's a lot of pros that have them, especially, I guess I'll thank you men's physique guys for the pretty boys, because there's so many of you, it's become more a thing. But, I mean, bodybuilding is a little more old school. It depends on what look they're going for. And it's not a knock, but, depending on the division, depending on the judges, my opinion, typically, it is not going to hurt you just because you have a tattoo. Sometimes if you have certain things tattooed, now this is the next thing people ask, oh, does it have any issue with definition?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't had a problem. My only areas for me that would be concerned with my arms and my pecs. I don't want my back tattooed because I like how my back looks, and I just don't have a desire to get my back tattooed. But for me, like by the time you put on a proper competition tan, you have a base tan from tanning before a show, a competition tan, the stage oil, and those lights. Honestly, you can look at my pictures, and I very clearly have ink, but it doesn't hide in definition. Everything still pops. All the cuts come out. Maybe because I have a combination of blacks and grays rather than like a solid black tribal piece. Like you may have that may blend in a little worse and hurt you, but typically it doesn't really wash out that much on stage. I mean, if you have a fucking forearm sleeve, like, oh, we couldn't see his defined forearm, -2 points on the scorecard. Like, come on. I mean, if you have certain areas tattooed where like it's really hard, like maybe your core or like say your legs, your glutes, stuff like that, it might cover that a bit. But in general, I wouldn't worry about getting on stage and or covering your tattoos. Don't worry about covering them specifically to be judged. Worry about getting your tan correct so you don't look like a fucking potato in general on stage.
For me, like I just look in the mirror, right, and I don't have stage presence tan at all. But my right arm is the one that is tattooed. Jesus Christ. My left one is not. Personally, it looks like I have more definition in my left arm. And I know I'm stronger in my right, but it's because I have a tattoo on my right. And I think part of it was there was a tribal at one point. Now it's covered up. It's a really nice job in terms of a cover-up. But I feel like it lacks the definition from viewpoint with the tattoo versus what my left arm is. But my DEXA scan says that my right arm has more muscle mass in it, and it's more defined. So the science or the X-ray technology says right arm is bigger. Visually, to me, it looks smaller, and I think it's just that perception of my tattoo. So I've heard a lot from just people being like, especially in women in bikini and stuff, like they don't want you to be tattooed. They prefer you not to have that sleeve tattoo or have tattoos on your arms. Now, a lot of women will have the back tattoos. I mean, they may have gotten that in college, and God bless them. We've all made stupid decisions. But I've heard it more so, I think, now on the women's side, especially in bikini. And I don't know if there's any merit to that. And I figured, why not ask the guy who's been on stage several times, and I'm a stage virgin yet, if you had any information on that. Now, from the women's side, I don't know. And I don't know if you would know any more from a women competitor.
From like what I would gather, the thing is, it's more so the look in general. Like typically, a lot of bikini girls, they want them to be quote unquote the most like average feminine. And what I mean by that is they aren't looking for a super hard look. They're not looking for, that extra muscle mass. I mean, they need to have, nice legs, glutes, look like they look amazing to the beach, have a nice core, tiny waists, so on and so forth. And depending what the sleeve is, or I said sleeve automatically, but what the tattoo is, it could be very, elegant. The thing is, I don't personally think that they would take away from it, as long as it kind of quote unquote fits the girl. And in general, when it comes to a good tattoo, it just needs to fit you. Okay, I mean, I think you look fucking ballin' with like a Tinkerbell tattoo, but in general, if a tattoo fits your physique, you have a physique for it, it complements your physique rather than takes away from it, I don't think that makes a big deal. And not to stereotype, but typically, bikini is going to be viewed as softer than women's figure or women's physique. It gets to the physique level ladies, they're the badasses. And you have these figure girls, that super nice cut in core, nice rounder shoulders, more defined legs. They're badasses as well. They have a little more hardness that's expected and wanted for that class in a tattoos. It makes more sense. For bikini, and once again, I might put my foot in my mouth here, it's not a negative thing. Typically they're seen, like a little more on the softer side. The more like, okay, they don't want them to be shredded. That's kind of not the look the judges for. So it's the overall look in general, not just a tattoo, if that makes sense.
No, 100% makes sense. And I think, we were talking about a little bit here about essentially the process of getting a tattoo, and Drew mentioned some very valid points in terms of what you're going to pay for reputable artists who can do good work, tip them, because they are providing a service. But I think, Drew, you laid out, prior to this episode, you sent me some notes, and I thought you laid out some really good ideas in terms of the process. Now, this isn't fitness related. This is for anybody that's going to get a tattoo. I've been in tattoo shops before where people have walked in off the street and just asked for a tattoo and got it done that day without any thought process going into it. And like Drew said, this shit is permanent unless you want to pay lots of money to get it laser removed, and that hurts like a bitch, from what I'm told. So the process to getting a tattoo, first and foremost, and for me, it's like, pick something that means something to you, or pick something that you're not going to essentially get sick of. Like, I mean, if it's in my case, a tribal design, I was a fucking idiot. I was a 19-year-old kid in college. I was dumb as shit, and I can look back on that now. I didn't put much thought process into that. I thought at the time it was cool. And some people will get their girlfriend or boyfriend's name, or that's fucking dumb. There's a lot of things that you can do that is stupid, but there's a lot of things that you can do that's cool. So, Drew, when you picked out your tattoos, just from personal experience, what was your process like?
Well, it may or may not be a big fucking secret. I'm Greek is my heritage, so all of my tattoos are Greek mythology based. It actually kind of started with, hey, I want to do something super simple. Me, Mr. I don't know if I want a tattoo. I think I'll get something small. And what do I want to get? I'll get the word the me in Greek. It looks like it doesn't even look like that word, danami, which is Greek for strength. So okay, cool. Got that on my left pec. Oh, cool. Strong in body, strong in heart. Cool. Then the next part is, okay, I want to add to it. I kind of get the itch, for some more ink. Okay, let's dig a little deeper here. Family Spartan origin, Sparta, Greece, and Kalamata. So let's look at some Greek pottery. Let's look at some architectures. Look at things that are inspired by the island of Greece. So you have meandros, which is the interlocking the Greek key, which is a technical name for that, meandros, and which basically symbolizes the winding river of the eternal life. So that's kind of where the Greek pottery comes in. Okay, badass. Who's my favorite Greek mythology character? I love Zeus. I mean, I can't not look Zeus. So then I'm, next thing I know, going in there searching for Google images of Zeus statues, Zeus architecture, Zeus plates. And the key to that is you take all these ideas, and I'm just covering one tattoo. You're paying an artist to make your stuff. So my best approach is, when you have an idea of what you want, kind of stash everything away, think about it hard, like, do I really want Greek pottery and Zeus, so on and so forth, and that shape? And okay, cool. Go meet the artist and kind of, go through the portfolio so you kind of fit the strength of what kind of tattoo you're looking for, like blacks and grays, colors, pictures, whatever, different artists, different strengths, and kind of run it by them and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm looking for this tattoo, these kind of elements, and trust the artist to take your vision and make it look good on you. Because at the end of the day, the worst thing you can do is pigeonhole an artist and say, I want exactly this, 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 and this, and it may not look as good. That's my initial opinion. Gather what you want, take it to your artist, let them kind of give their creative perspective, and do respect that they are an artist. You're paying them to create art for you.
I thought the best point you made in the notes that you sent me was the whole stash it away thing. You said stash it away for a month. Come back to it, and do you still love it? Because that's the point, right? If you just walking off the street and you pick something in 10 minutes, and maybe you had a couple alcoholic beverages and you signed the waiver form saying you're not drunk, but you were shit-faced, you wake up the next day and you're like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, I mean, I'm going to Vegas in for the Olympia. I'm sure many people are going to walk in the tattoo parlors on the strip and do the same stupid shit. It happens all the time. You know, and I've never stashed away. I've thought about an idea for a long time. I marinated on an idea for a long time. I found designs that I liked. I kept looking back at them on my phone. Very similar to what Drew's saying. Like, I didn't just make a decision, walk in one day and say, this is the cover-up that I want to do now in my old age of 32. I made sure it's something that I could live with for the rest of my life and something that's representative of what I fucking want to basically live my life by. And I bet not a lot of people actually do that. They might contemplate, like, I want a zoo animal, or I want, like a fucking whatever it might be, you know. But I think the other point that you made too is trust the artist, and that's why you have to put faith in the artist, and you have to find an artist that's worth $150 to $200 an hour, that has reputable reviews, and people have gone to them because they're going to take care of you. Because the point that I think a lot of people miss is that you are a walking advertisement for that artist. Like, you are a future marketing piece, a billboard for that artist. If their stuff looks like shit on you, and people ask you who did that, and you say this is artist A, B, and C, they're not going to want to fucking go to that person. So, like, for instance, my tattoo artist had me come back, and he was going to send me home probably 4, 5, 6 times. And I would stand up, and the tattoo would hit the light in a different angle. He'd say, sit back down. And he would make sure he took care of it, because he did not want me leaving that chair until it was absolutely to perfection in his eyes, because he wanted to make sure that his stamp of approval was on the tattoo that he did.
I agree. So I guess in general, I'm just going to cover like what to expect, the process, even more very simplified, what you want to do. So basically, say you lock in, exactly what you want to have done. Like, boom, in my case, okay, I want a Zeus statue head. Here's my inspiration. I also want to have these type of Greek patterns. Hey, I trust you. Figure it out, make it look badass. My inspiration, honestly, from the shape of my tattoo on the less of my body was the fucking rock. I mean, who wouldn't want to be the rock? I loved he had the the Samoan, the tribal
best
piece. Exactly, the fucking man.
Yeah.
If there's one person I'd be the fucking rock, because he's the boss. He had a really cool piece. It complements his physique. He had a piece on his trap, his shoulder blade, his pec. I like how it fit, but I'm not a fucking Hawaiian. I'm not in a tribe, so that's fucking stupid. Me, I'm gonna go Greek. I'm gonna have Greek influence. So use those elements as shape, but then fill it with all Greek things. That's kind of how I went about that. And so, okay, say boom, the Rock's tattoo. Here's my elements that makes it mine. I want something that nobody else has. And you take it to him. The guy's name was Andrew, coincidentally, at a place called Liquid Courage in Omaha. Great reviews. Once again, we had a good chat with him. He said, oh, hell yeah, I'd love to do this. And he, I just trusted him with the pieces. Honestly, sometimes it's going to sound kind of fucky. You may not see exactly what the artist is going to do until the day you get to your tattoo shop.
Yeah.
You may set like an appointment a week out to kind of go over, but it all depends on your style. So him, I stopped by a week before a tattoo. He wasn't done yet. Like, what do you mean you're not done yet? And he said, no, here's what I have so far. He showed me like this beautiful like stencil he started to work on. He just drew from scratch. I'm like, whoa. So even then, it's going to be hard to conceptualize what it's going to look like until it's on your body. Mm-hmm. I seen his portfolio, my bro. Okay, this looks really cool. I don't get it yet 100%, but I'm going to trust it. So, boom, go back, get my appointment. He has the entire stencil done. What they're going to do, they're going to make a stencil. In other words, they're not tracing by numbers, assholes. They're going to take your tattoo, they're going to stencil it out with a special paper, and then they're going to make sure your area you're shaved. They're going to clean it really good. Boom, they're going to put the stencil on you and peel it off. That gives them the basic guideline that they had drawn to put onto a tattoo. They're going to outline it. So beforehand, once again, make sure you're not drunk, make sure you've eaten, make sure the area is shaved. They're going to take care of the sanitation. Hold fucking still when they start doing the tattoo, because you want to be a good canvas. It's going to be uncomfortable probably. The way I always describe it, it's going to feel like cat claws when it's getting done. Think a little kitten claws, like a sharp sting. Afterwards, kind of feels like a sunburn. And it has a weird vibrating sensation. So Ryan's heard that before. It's not going to be the worst thing that you've ever had. But at the end of the day, it's only going to be as bad as you think it is. You're like, oh, this is going to be excruciating, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be painful. It's going to be a lot worse. Versus, might be a little uncomfortable, but I'll live. It's 3 hours for something I have the rest of my life. Yep. Okay? So they're going to stencil it out, make sure you're clean, and they're going to outline it. And depending on your tattoo, they'll do an outline first typically. Depending how long it takes, they may do that day, and it may have you come back, or they may do it that same time. I've had both done. Next step is to shade it in, say like blacks and grays or color, and they're going to finish the tattoo. Either that session, or if it's a bigger piece, maybe a second one. Okay? Afterwards, they're going to clean it up. They're going to wrap it, depending on some artists use the blue like surgical towel. Some like to use like a saran wrap. Some, just tell you, hey, clean it, rub it with Vaseline, head out of the shop, be good. At the end of the day, when it comes to, as soon as you leave the shop, make sure you keep the damn thing clean. Make sure you keep it moisturized but not saturated and soaked, and try not to let it get dry, and don't fucking pick at it. Okay, that's the basic things after. I know I kind of mentioned that pretty quickly, but that's kind of what to expect. That's your process from A to B, and D in terms of getting through your tattoo. So what did I miss?
Two things I think, not that you missed them, but like Drew mentioned, it's uncomfortable in areas. There are certain areas of your body that hurt way more than others. So just FYI, there might be an area that is super uncomfortable. And depending on your session too, like for me, I sat through a 6-hour session on my arm. At about hours 4 and 5, it's not just uncomfortable. You get tired of sitting in the fucking chair. You become agitated of listening to the needles go. If you see an old school tattoo artist, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, Drew, instead of using like the stencil, they actually engrave it into a piece of plastic, put like a graphite powder into it, and then they put it on your body that way. That was my first tattoo, like old school. And then in terms of taking care of it, like obviously, yes, make sure you clean it, make sure you keep it moist. If you're outside and you get an arm tattoo and the sun's out, use fucking sunscreen, cover it up, protect it, because you don't want that sun beating down on a fresh tattoo day number 2 and getting a massive sunburn on it. You're gonna hate yourself for many reasons. It's gonna hurt like a bitch. It's gonna fade out quicker. So just take care of it. So that's the biggest thing. And as we, I guess, now convert, let's go back into, bring it full circle, bring tattoos now back into fitness, because we got questions quite a bit in our group that we are very active in about, like, listen, I just got a tattoo, a 3-4 hour session. When can I go back to the gym? How do I, like, what lifts can I do? So I think it very much is a personal thing, in terms of your pain tolerance. If you can tolerate it, great. But one thing that you need to keep in mind, and Drew has a lot more tattoos than I do, is like if you're doing lifts that agitate the area. So if you just got a fresh back tattoo and you're going to bench press, or you're going to do something which your back is against something, you might approach that differently than if you just got a pec tattoo and you're bench pressing. You don't have to put the bar on your chest. But Drew, like you have some really good advice in terms of people when they ask you, like, how do you approach training, going to the gym either the same day or the next day post tattoo?
You nailed it. Going back to one point there in terms of the areas, anywhere in general that's the thinner the skin is or closer to bone or a joint, typically the more uncomfortable it's going to be. So a lot of times if you have thinner areas, like everybody's a fan of getting these fancy rib tattoos. Everybody wants stuff on their wrists and their ankles and their feet and their hands. Those are coincidentally going to be some of the most uncomfortable areas for a lot of people. It's thin, it vibrates on bone, it's uncomfortable, and just, I'm getting my first tattoo of my ribs. I'm like, good luck with that. I mean, honestly, I don't have anything on my ribs, but I have some sensitive areas. Personally, for me, so like around the radius and the ulna, like right here on the wrist bones, it's vibrating on bone. It gets annoying, especially when you're on your third time that night going through the white highlights in that 7.5 hour session. That was a long one. The acromion process here on your shoulder blade.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm pointing, and probably not everybody's watching this. Yes, I'm pointing at my shoulder right now. Basically, where your clavicle and your acromion meet, the acromion process, that fucking hurts. It vibrates. It's annoying. The clavicle itself is like this constantly vibrates up your neck. I have both my pecs done, like more toward the nipple. It just feels weird. It doesn't hurt, I guess. And the most uncomfortable ones are like probably the bottom side of your arm. One, because how you're laying, your arm goes to fucking sleep. But like in between the bicep and tricep and that crease there, it feels like your armpit's being tattooed.
Yeah.
So those are some interesting ones. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
Feels like you're being burned a bit.
It's weird. It's a very weird sensation. I mean, okay, cool. Yeah, the most miserable one, even the elbow for me wasn't bad, and the ditch, which is like the opposite side of your elbow, like the crease in your forearm and bicep. Like that's not that bad to me, at least. As some people are like, man, fuck y'all, that hurt like bitch. Yeah, it's weird. But to answer the question there, I've had obviously both my pecs done. I've had, arm sleeves both sides and a bottom sleeve. You hit the nail on the head. Just kind of use your fucking head about it. Like I got my right sleeve done on, I believe, Friday night, and then Monday, 2 days later, I went and I had a back day and it was fine. And I had chest the next day. It didn't really bother me. And then I think when I did like another, like my chest piece, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I did. A chest piece I got done on a Thursday, and then I went and trained chest the next day with my homeboy down when I was down in Florida still, and it wasn't a problem. But then again, it's the key is if you let this tattoo dry out and the skin gets tight, when you go to stretch it, when you're doing any type of lift, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's like, oh man, that smarts. So keep it clean, but also keep the right moisturizer on it. I like, this isn't a product pitch, there's a called Hustle Butter. It's really fucking good. One of my favorite tattoo healing things. Another one was After Ink. Both are really good products. Like I'm on Amazon. My tattoos heal beautifully. I heal like Wolverine in fucking general. But the key is just use your fucking head. You know, you hit the nail on the head. If you're doing like have your back tattoo, don't do like a bunch of chest stuff where you're pressing up against things. You're probably fine. But then there's a part of you too, like, do I really want an open wound on my body pressing against a fucking bench that everybody and their grandmas had their nutsack on?
Yeah.
You know, some people's grandmas have nutsacks apparently. Or do I want to have, you know, my chest on something where I'm laying down and do a bunch of hamstring curls? You know, so just gotta use your head, keep it clean. That's the main thing. You'll be fine at the gym. Trust me. Just keep your fucking hands clean. Don't be touching your fucking tattoo during your set. Wash the damn thing after you should be anyway. Keep it hydrated, and don't be a fucking moron. You should be okay. I wouldn't do anything in a contact sport. Like if you're, like, say, do MMA, just try to do it when you're taking a break. You don't want to have that rubbed against or hit or struck. You know, just be smart about the area.
Exactly. And Drew mentioned a couple products there. Just not like I said, not a sales pitch, but if some over-the-counter products that you don't have time to go to Amazon. Vaseline, just pure Vaseline is fine. Coconut oil works too. One thing we didn't talk about, actually, and not to get back away from fitness, but I want to go back and we'll finish the episode on this note. Is a lot of people ask, can I take something for the discomfort and the pain prior to the tattoo? Should I take a Vicodin? Should I take Tylenol? Should I take an ibuprofen? Should I use a topical on the area to basically numb it? And the topical is the worst fucking thing you can do because you want your skin to take the ink. You want your skin to absorb the ink. In terms of the other stuff, you can, but like Drew said, I mean, it's really not that bad. I'll fully admit, I've taken a Vicodin before my back piece back when I was 21 years old, or before my first arm piece it was. It still hurt. You know, there were still areas that hurt, like Drew was talking about, the under by like your armpit area. That still fucking hurt. So it didn't do anything for me. And if anything, like, you don't want to thin your blood out. You don't want your shit to run any quicker. So I would say you don't need to take anything. I don't know if you've ever taken anything prior to a tattoo, but to me it's just like, nah, it's not worth it.
No, there's actually I have a new product come out. What was it called? It's comes in 100 milligram tablets called Nut the Fuck Up, and it's a really new supplement for getting a tattoo. You'll be fucking okay. Like I said, the more bad you think the tattoo is going to be is how bad it's going to be. Like, trust me, don't be going fucking drunk because they won't tattoo you. Like, you don't want to be thinning your blood just in case you have some bad reaction, God forbid, 1 in a million chance or ink where you start bleeding, which isn't no. You don't want to inhibit anything that inhibits wound healing or blood clotting, just in general. Like, you know, so don't be taking a bunch of fucking aspirin, don't be taking a bunch of alcohol, or don't be fucking high as a kite when you go in. Dude, if you want to smoke a blunt to chill out, that's probably okay. I'm just saying. Just chill, relax, and you'll be okay. Like, I wouldn't exactly have said you're just delaying the pain. And also, to me, it's a rite of passage. I'm not talking about going in the backwoods and ritual shit, having it done with, like, the stick and nail like they do in Africa or where the fuck that is, and doing the old-fashioned tap, tap, tap tattoos. But that's part of the process. Embrace the pain, being, hey, I'm earning my right to have this ink by bearing this pain. And seriously, just nut the fuck up. Take 100 milligrams, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear people tell us their tattoo horror stories on this episode. You can tell us on Facebook, the Iron Jungle Podcast. Send pictures. Send pictures of your horrific, shitty fucking tattoos that you have. Because, like I said, I fully admit, I had one, got it covered up. I still have a back piece that's a tribal. I don't cover it up because I don't fucking see it. But if I saw it every day, I'd cover that sumbitch up too. And just like horror stories in general. Did you go to a bad tattoo artist? Did they misspell something? Because that would suck. All right. If they can't spell correctly, you went to the wrong fucking tattoo artist to begin with. That's on you. That's not on them.
At the same time,
what's that?
On your back and you can't see it. I mean, if you look at it and say, yeah, that's right, then you're a fucking moron too. Like, I mean, I don't know any time ever that the tattoo artist is like, hey, is the spelling correct? Like, unless you're drunk or you're just an idiot, then I can't help you there. You
live your life with no regrets, right? Like, you got to do it that way. No regrets, not even one letter. All right, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Leave us a comment. Write us anything that you want on this episode. If there's any ideas for future episodes, make sure you hit us up anywhere. You can get a hold of Drew or me. No problem at all. Appreciate this one, Drew. This is fun. I love talking tattoos. Now I think I need to go do a tattoo parlor and get something else done here.
I'm going to end with this for all you out there. And this is, we're wrapping this up real quick. You're going to probably laugh at this shit. This is a Facebook post. It said, somebody told me, hey, you're going to regret all those tattoos someday, when you get old and I reply with this is like, these tattoos symbolize my journey, my heritage, my family, my beliefs, and things that make me me. Why would I regret that? So if anybody gives you a negative thing about your ink, unless you have something really stupid, and hey, to them it may be dumb, to you it may be very meaningful, fuck them. Secondly, this may be more of a rant. Nobody cares about your fucking tattoo. Just because you have a tattoo and I have a tattoo does not mean we're automatically friends. Third of all, don't ask somebody how much their tattoos cost. It's like, you know, how much do you make a year before taxes? Like, fuck off. It's none of your business. Also, for all y'all out there, I'm going to end with this because fitness related. You're not going to get too fucking big and stretch out a tattoo. If you manage to put on that much muscle mass and actually stretch this tattoo out, congratulations, but it probably is not going to happen. Yeah. And I'll end my rant with that.
A nice arm sleeve and some thin synthol, baby. Stretch that motherfucker out.